Welcome to the Life Podcast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Life Podcast. Today's discussion is going to be extremely important and extremely interesting. Today we're going to be talking about the United States military. I've ran across some statistics recently that I find is heavily disturbing, and I want to have this discussion. And before I introduce my guests, just really quick, some of these numbers that I'm looking at, from 2016, the suicides that occurred between U.S. veterans was approximately 6,010 in 2016. So that's just about 16.4 deaths a day. So, easily every other hour a veteran is committing suicide. And in 2017, it wasn't much different. It actually increased just a bit, about 6,139 approximately. So, with this, the average age of these veterans that are committing suicide is between, the age of 25 and 27. And I know a lot goes into this, and it's just a severe issue that I feel should be addressed. I haven't ran across it a lot over the internet, and this is why I'm very appreciative of my guest today. And, he's a veteran himself, right? I've never been in the military, so I had to bring somebody that was in the military so that veterans and soldiers are not looking at me like a piece of shit, like I don't know what I'm talking about. And so I'm going to introduce my guest today, Edgar Ayala. How are you, my man?
Pretty good.
Dude, thank you for being here.
No problem. Thank you for having me. I actually, like I said, I'm pretty excited, and this is my first podcast ever.
Oh yeah. It's funny how people all my guests, they would say that when they haven't been on podcasts, this is my first podcast ever. It's almost like I don't want to say like a cop out, but it's like you're new to it.
Yeah.
So you don't want people to think like you're like Joe Rogan or some shit.
Exactly.
Tell us about your upbringing, where you're from, and where you are today.
So obviously, you know this, but they don't. I was in part of a Hispanic family, Mexican descent, first generation. So the upbringing was pretty strict. So I made a joke even in the military that my first boot camp drill instructor was my dad. So he was always tough on me. He always he always made sure that I did everything on time and did it right. Put all my effort in whatever I was doing. And I think as a kid I didn't appreciate it as much, but as an adult I look back and I look at it and I'm like, my dad raised me to be a good guy.
Yeah.
So I mean, with that, I grew up in a house with so I had an older brother and then 3 sisters. So it was like a female dominant house. So I think that's where my empathy and my emotions come from, because obviously I had 3 sisters and I got picked on. So I was the second youngest out of the 5.
Okay.
So I got picked on a lot, and then I was like a mama's boy. So that made a lot of sense. So when I when the time came to leave, obviously my mom took it really hard, and one of those things. But now, after 4 years in the Marine Corps, I'm basically going to school. I'm a huge advocate of going to school. Use your GI Bill, go to school, get your degree. It doesn't matter what, just learn something new. You need that. We were discussing earlier. I'm all about learning new things, and I don't think I'm ever going to be done with school, because honestly I love it. I'm healthy. Obviously some minor things because of the Marine Corps, hoorah! But
yeah.
It's one of those things where obviously I'm okay. I'm grateful. Definitely the whole collective of me is appreciative of everything that I've gone through now, because now at 29, like I said, I think I've mastered myself, so I can carry myself as a good, decent human being.
That's dope, dude. I love your family, man. I've been around them for years now. Do you want to take this time to just shout them out real quick?
Yeah. So definitely
your
shout
siblings
out
and all that.
So definitely shout out to Jose Gonzalez, Ana Ayala, Bianca Ayala, and Brianna Ayala, and then my mom and dad, Rosa and Eduardo. Great people. Obviously, that we always have barbecues and cookouts. So.
Yeah. Y'all hook it up, man. Y'all are never short on alcohol either. Never been here. Y'all were short on alcohol, so you get plenty of that. So just kind of going back a little bit. Let's go back to maybe your senior year in high school.
Okay.
Right? And here you are. You're about to like graduate. Do you remember how you were feeling around that time, graduation, and like what were your thoughts? Because was college even an option? Were you thinking about that? What was going on in your mind?
Me personally, I was that kid. So obviously when I was younger, you gotta understand this. When I was younger, I got picked on a lot, right? I was short and fat, and then I got my growth spurt in like junior high, and then I became 6'1" in high school, and then I was like, living my best life. So when I graduated, I had the worst mentality that I don't think it's the worst, but like it's basically like any high school kid or any decent, good-looking kid that was like, fuck it, the world's mine,
Mm.
I literally thought I did no wrong. I was like living. I worked at Paxson, bro. There's like barely any Paxsons left, Come on, like an 18-year-old kid that works at Paxson. I was like, I wasn't thinking about school, like. Literally, the one thing I was thinking about was chasing my coworker, and she was Mormon, by the way. So that wasn't a good chase.
It's like double entendre. Like it's kind of like a waste of time.
Exactly. So, and ironically enough, when I did try to go to school, I tried to go to my school that I'm going to now, Cypress College, and I was taking a couple classes because I was trying to be a business major back then too, but like I said, it just didn't work out because I wanted to make money. I saw money coming, so I wanted to make more money. And then, like I said, the girl that was working at Paxson, the Mormon, whatever. But so I was like, you know what? I don't need to go to school. So I dropped out, and then I literally was just working full time. And sadly enough, that's why I said, ironically, like that girl, when I went full time, she quit. So, so yeah. So like I was just like a typical 18-year-old kid that thought like I was like I couldn't be stopped, and like it led into my 20s and like my 23 right before I left. But I was just like that dumb kid that like thought I was everything I did was golden. I went from job to job. Like I went from Paxson, and then I went to like this small little boutique, and then I went to like Sears, and then I went to security, and then I worked for fucking Toshiba, and then like it was just dumb. Like I will say now that like I should have invested those years. A lot of people say that, but like from 18 to like 24 are such critical years that you should invest into going to school at least. Like invest in yourself because like that's the greatest investment.
Sure.
But again, I didn't get to learn that until later.
Yeah, and that's with a lot of people. Others might have like certain guidance where like maybe their parents went to college already or whatever the case, so they kind of steer into that guidance early. But around this time, when I believe it was 19 when we met.
Yeah.
You were 19, I was 18.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go over all the shit that we did, but just long story short, like man, we would just hang out and just drink.
Yeah.
And we would be kids.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it's almost in the sense of like there seemed to be no real purpose.
Yeah.
In our lives. I mean, I was going to college, but I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and I was getting average grades. Like I was chasing women too.
Yeah.
But you, on the other hand, I want to ask you, during this time of 1920, did you feel like you had a sense of purpose? Did you feel?
The crazy part was that I think you kind of nailed it right now. Is that like I think anyone at that age doesn't, and it's more about finding out who you are. And obviously, it took me 29 years to figure out who I was, but I had an idea of the type of person I was. Obviously, like I said, I got picked on a lot growing up, so I knew that I was never going to be some victim, or I wasn't going to let people victimize like people around me or my friends. So I've always like been that protector. So, but I didn't realize that back then because again, I was like, fucking 19, 20, chasing women, drinking, like I thought I was doing all the cool things that the cool kids did,
right.
But, I was misguided. And I'm not saying that all that was a waste of my time, but it was building my character. And I think, like you said, like without purpose, that's because we didn't figure out what our purpose was until later.
Right. So now you understand, like, okay, you don't know really what you're doing, right? Now I think I'm either in my last year of college or I'm graduating. But I remember it was like a text message or something from you, and it's like, yeah, I'm going into the military. I was like, holy shit. Like, you're going into the military, not in the sense of a bad thing, but I was just like surprised.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, oh shit, this is the decision you're making.
Yeah.
And so, what came across that? What hit your brain to be like, I'm chasing women 1 minute, now I'm going into the military?
Okay, so first off, the main reason why I pulled the trigger, ladies and gentlemen, whatever you do, don't do it because of a breakup. but literally, so I was with this chick that I met when I was working at South Coast Plaza for security, and I thought she was like the one or whatever, you know, like I thought like she was going to be like this amazing person, whatever, and Lord have it, she dumped me so randomly. So and like, not to give like a crazy amount of information, it's just like she was going through a rough time, and I was there to pick her up and pick up the pieces and put it back together. And again, ladies and gentlemen, she was not a bad person. It's just the timing and the things, and people grow apart. That's the thing. And that me being, I think I was like 22, 23, going on 24 or something like that. So I took it as a big blow, you know, like as anyone would take a serious breakup, like, you know, like I took it really hard. But the crazy part, it wasn't just her, because when we were together, I was already thinking about joining, because there was times where I would tell her, I was like, if I join, would you follow me? And she was like, yeah, you know, if we're gonna have kids and we're gonna do this. So again, that's why I was like, you know,
yeah.
So the thought was already in my mind, but it was when that breakup, the initial breakup, was just the fucking, you know, the icing on the cake, dude. I literally, the next day, I'm not even joking, the next day, I went straight into a fucking recruiting office. I met with with the staff sergeant that was in charge, and I was like, look, send me the fuck out. Like, I'm ready to go today if I can. And he was like, oh, okay, look, hold on, let me see things. And I was just like, because like, you know, again, when you're that age, everything seems like the end of the world.
Yeah.
You know, like I was living in 2020 COVID back in 2015, 17. You know, like like everything was bad. You know, so I just told them, I was like, send me the fuck out. Like, I'm ready to go. I don't care what it is. Send me. And they were just like, let's do it. And that was like pretty much like my mindset of like how I got into there. But you know, most people don't know that. But yeah,
dude, what was that? The week prior to, you know, having to report, what was that week? Do you remember what was running through your mind the week before?
Oh man, I was super hyped. I was ready to go. I was scared. I didn't know what to expect, because they don't really. So what recruiters do, they don't really tell you the whole truth. They tell you just enough to get you to sign. What they tell you is the facts.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna make money. You're gonna do this job, whatever job it is. You're gonna pick a job that your ASVAB score allows you to take, and then you're gonna work out. So they're not lying, and travel the world, whatever.
Okay.
But most of us don't really get to travel. But yeah, and they're not lying. But it's the little information that they forget to tell you, and it's that little stuff that you learn and figure out. Which I guess I might let out some secrets today, but it's that little stuff that you learn that when you're in boot camp and when you're in, like, you know, MOS school, and when you're, like, you know, actually in the fleet, like, you learn these things, and I'm like, fuck, they never told me. Which some of them are really cool, and then some of them are really fucked up. But
which I wouldn't even go as far as like blame military for that, because a simple university will do that shit.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? A hospital will do that. Like, they don't give you all of the information. So the military is just kind of going with that same format. It's understandable. Yeah. So now here we are. That week is up, and you're essentially, I mean, what's the term for it? You're being shipped off, or you're being
Yeah, shipped off.
or you're reporting.
You're reporting in, either way.
And what branch is this?
The Marine Corps.
Dude, the Marine Corps. What the hell went into that decision?
So, me personally, so the whole breakup, like, kind of like, I want to say, like, broke open a cage inside me where I just didn't want to be stagnant anymore. I didn't want to be. I don't know if you ever feel like you hit a wall and like, or you look at something and you're like, man, I can. This is it for me. Like I plateaued. Like there's nothing more. I hit my ceiling. I peaked, or like whatever. You know, like. But I didn't want to feel that way, and I knew I had more to unlock. And with that breakup, I was like, I want to do the most difficult thing I can possibly do in my life, and I want to do it with fucking flying colors. And I want to prove everyone wrong that they're wrong about me. Because I'm not a failure. I'm not this and not that. And I looked at every single branch, and literally every single one of them said the Marine Corps, the Marine Corps, the Marine Corps. And I have a few Marine Corps friends that I grew up with prior to me enlisting. So they used to tell me, do it. And one of my brother's really good friends, which is my nephew's godfather, he was in the Marine Corps too. And he was actually part of when we first invaded Afghanistan after 9/11 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he was in the infantry, so he was a big advocate for me to like, dude, just go, do it, do it. But obviously, I did it with age and experience, and I kind of did it. I played it really smart. I don't think people realize how well I played it, but like, dude, I played it to the point where like I knew what I was gonna do outside after the Marine Corps. I wasn't gonna be just some dude that like some vet that wasn't gonna be like, oh, I'm broken and I'm fucked up, Yeah. So I played it really fucking smart.
I'm glad you brought that up. That you had a plan, because I'm sure that's what goes into a lot of the suicide attempts. Is not having a clear sense of direction.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping we could bring a little light in that later. But I've always. And it's important to mention, my older brother, was in the Air Force and was honorably discharged because of his vision.
Yeah.
And so I remember him going off to boot camp, and it was just very little like communication.
Yeah.
Here I was living with my brother. I think I was like 11 or 12 when he went in. I was talking to him every single day, and then he goes in. It's like kind of ghost for 2-3 months, right? And I want to ask you, because I'm so curious about boot camp. Obviously, I didn't do it. What was that first week like mentally? I mean, I'm so curious.
The better question: how was that first couple of days? So first off, let me go off the record and say that just because I joined the Marine Corps doesn't mean that other branches weren't that great. I chose it personally because I had something to prove. But all the other branches are great in their own individual way. I know a lot of the branch members make fun of each other, but at the same time, it's brotherly love. My sister's in the Navy. I have friends in the Air Force. I have friends in the Army, and I have friends in the National Guard, which, again, we joke about them, but still, like, at the end of the day, all the branches are good. But to answer your question, for me specifically, the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
So let me backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
I messed up because I did not sleep, or I stayed up all night the day that they shipped me out. So, and then on top of that, so what happens is that the day that they ship you out to MAPS, which is like this like big like building that they basically make sure that you're physically fit, you're healthy, they check your prostate for colon cancer and shit like that. They look at your wiener, but like crazy shit like that, blood pressure and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I fucked up because I didn't sleep. So I stayed up with my friends and the girl that I was talking to at the time too. Again, I was already pulling girls.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so I stayed up all night with them, and they shipped me out like 4 a.m, and then like 4 a.m. we drove to Los Angeles to MAPS, and then from there I was up all day. I made weight. I made made sure I was healthy and stuff like that. And then they told us that they were going to ship us out that same day. My dumb ass thought I was going to be flying. so I was gonna be able to catch some sleep.
Yeah.
But I didn't know I was going to fucking San Diego.
Yeah. So you had no clue.
I had no clue. Well, they told me at that point, but I was like, all right, well, I need to drink an energy drink, so I was like, fuck it. So literally, we take this fucking tour bus from Los Angeles to San Diego, and literally, like, I think we leave, like, I want to say, like, closer to, like, I don't remember exactly, but I think we left around, like, 2 or 3 in the afternoon. We stopped, we made a pit stop to get our last meal at Denny's. This random Denny's, like, going to San Diego. Yeah. I'm pretty sure, like, everyone's seen it. It's, like, it has, like, the original Denny's sign, so, like, it's literally, like, you can't miss it. It's, like, going towards San Diego. But, anyways, we eat our last meal there. Our last meal, like, fucking, we're gonna die, but literally, that's what it was, our last enjoyable meal. So, after that, they take us to the bus, we take the bus all the way to San Diego. I want to say we got there, like, around, I want to say, like, maybe, I want to say, like, 7 or 8, probably a little bit later than that. But, again, the reason why I say I fucked up is because they keep that first initial moment that they get you, and they put you on the yellow footprints, they keep your ass awake until the next fucking day. So I'm already on 1 day of, like, no sleep, and I'm going on a 2nd day of no sleep.
What?
People had to catch me because I was, like, falling, and I was like, oh shit. And the worst part is that, so there's this thing is, like, they call it the moment of truth. There's 2 of them. So if they don't know that, there's 2 of them. So there's one prior to you leaving. It's basically, it's a way for you to, they scare you into saying if you ever done drugs or anything, or if you ever done anything, if you were lying about it. So, but they, again, that's more of the, you know, DIs and stuff like that, or the recruiters that try to, like, if they need to make numbers, they try to ship you out as fast as they can, even if you have bad history. So they'll just be like, don't say anything. Which, I mean, I didn't really have anything crazy to hide, but I saw a lot of kids get scared, and they were like, oh, I gotta tell the truth. They're gonna find out. I'm like, how are they gonna find out? No one's gonna know. You know, like, if they can't test you, there's no test to find out that you've done it in the past, you know, like, but long story short, so like I said, there's a second moment of truth, and that's why they keep you up, because they want, if you're awake for 24 hours, you're more suggestible to be truthful, because you're tired, you're fatigued, your mind's not thinking, so they, like, rattle you, and that's how they rattle you, you know. So I got in there, and I'm telling you, bro, like, I swear to God, I was hallucinating because I was so fucking tired. Yeah. I was, like, just hallucinating. So, like, it looked like a dream. Like, I was just walking. I was like, I'm going to fall asleep at any moment, dude. And, like, I go into the office, and he's like, do you need to tell me anything? And I was like, no. I was like, are you fit to do this? And I was like, yeah. And then I just left. Yeah. So it was quick, but I was like, dude, because I was, like, so tired, I'm telling you. And, like, luckily that night I slept like a baby. But I'm telling you, that initial shock, dude, it's like, dude, I'm telling you, like, it bombards you. It basically shows you what you're going to deal with for the rest of the, 12 weeks that you're there.
Puts you in your place.
Yeah.
Gives you a good understanding of, like, you're in a subordinate position. Like, you don't run shit. Oh, you thought you were the shit out in the streets. Like, you're in our territory now. Exactly. This is how it's going to come.
Yeah, dude. I was like...
So that first week, what does that consist of?
So the first week is receiving week. So basically, you're in, like, these, like... So it's like a big-ass, like, empty space, but, like, there's multiple beds. So they basically... You're in a receiving company for, like, maybe 2 or 3 days. Because it's Black Friday. I'll get into Black Friday, but, like... there is, so they try to figure out how they're going to divide you into which company you're going to go to, and which company is the next rotation, and blah, 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 blah. So that's all politics, whatever. But basically, you're in that receiving week, and they have whatever DIs don't have any companies, they basically take over that. And then they rotate you to your actual company, which leads into Black Friday. Black Friday, for us, is the day we meet our drill instructors. It's the day that our companies pick us up. Yeah. And it's not a fun day either.
It's funny because the next question was going to be, tell me, like, your worst moment in boot camp, and then tell me your best moment. But if you want to go with your worst moment or continue with the story, go for it.
Oh, man. So, I'll get to my worst moment. But but yeah, Black Friday is basically where the DIs, like, your company. So it's like, I think I want to say it's 5 DIs or 4. So you have your head drill instructor that is basically the one that wears the black belt, and he's the one that's in charge and runs everything. And then you have your other ones, which they're basically either like one's to torture you, one's for knowledge, and the other one's for like drill. So they all have their specific jobs. So the one that tortures everyone took a liking to me real quick. So
Nice.
so and but yeah, no, I mean my worst experience. So for those of you that actually were in the military, you guys know that you're not supposed to do anything that you're not supposed to do. So
it's like with everywhere.
So my worst moment was probably I want to say going into phase 2, or we were already in phase 2. My dumbass decided to write because in the porta potties. This is dumb though. In the porta potties, people used to write their names and initials and like dates whenever they were in there. So my dumbass decided to put mine there. Which, by the way, can I just on the record just say that like for those that snitch, you guys are assholes.
Oh man, that's cold.
Literally, because you get in. The thing is about snitching in the Marine Corps is that if you snitch, the whole unit is in trouble, not the person, the whole unit. So when you snitch on someone, instead of like be like, oh man, like, oh, why'd you write that, or just leave it at that, But my bunkmate, it had to be my fucking bunkmate, like literally, it pissed me off. But my bunkmate, he fucking saw it and he looked at me and he's like, I gotta tell them. I'm like, tell them what? And then he's like, I gotta tell them the truth that you wrote there. I was like, bro, are you fucking serious? He fucking tells them, and then they didn't let us eat. They took our fucking food. And then everyone looked at me like the asshole.
What was the point of him telling?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And then I was the asshole because I did it, and the guy that snitched didn't fucking get in trouble. So there's this other term where like it's like I forgot exactly what it's called, but it's called sharking, where like drill instructors pretty much just like they find someone and they start yelling at them. Multiple drill instructors. So I kind of had a small version of sharking with my drill instructors because of that issue, and literally they fucking tore me apart because at that point they already know a little bit about me and they know what I am and who I am, and so they literally laid it in, bro. Like they find every insecurity and they fucking tear it into you. Literally, because I told them, I was like, the reason why I'm here is because I want to make my dad proud, and and they were just like, oh, so writing your fucking name on the toilet is making your dad proud, you fucking piece of shit. And I was like, oh, fuck. And then I'm like crying over there, and then all the other DIs are looking at me, and I'm crying, look at this crybaby. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like 6'1", 23. I'm like, oh, like, oh, God, no. And I was like, dude, that was the worst moment of my life. Like, at that point, I was like, I don't trust anyone, and I don't want to fucking, like, I'm not going to let that shit ever happen again.
Dude, well, let's flip to the best part. That's fucked up.
Yeah. So, the best part. So, check this shit out. This was the coolest shit. So, I had an injury. I forgot what it was called. It was like an IT ligament on my hip that was, like, getting overused, and it, like, caused me to not be able to run my full force. So leading up to that, I basically like try to recover off it because if you're unable to continue, they have to put you in a holding company again, and then they have to wait till you do. They find a company that is in your cycle to pick you up from where you left off, because you don't just start over again.
Yeah. I see.
Unless you're like really injured, and then they whatever. But they kind of whatever week you're in, they try to hold you until a company's in that week, and they'll toss you in to get you done. But so I was scared shitless because that just means more time there. And the one thing you learn in the Marine Corps is that the easiest way out is just through your time. Just get through your time. Like don't waste any more time. If you want to get out as fast as you can, just get through it. That's all it is. And that's what I wanted to do. So the CFT was coming up, our practice CFT, which again our company was like the best like athletically wise, and I was trying to get good for that. Well, the CFT, for those that don't know what it is, it's the combat fitness test, which basically it consists of like 880. So you have to get an 880 under. I think it's like for like perfect score. It's like under like 2. I think they changed it, but it used to be like 2:30, like 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So you have to do 2 laps in 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and then there was like the fire maneuver thing where it's like 100 yards but you have to do it multiple times, and you have to do it with like different things. And you have like a perfect score for that is like a 215, and then there's like the ammo can lift where you have to get like 100 ammo cans. It's like it probably weighs like I think 35 pounds, so it's not that much, but you have to do it within like 2 minutes. So like it's all timed and shit like that. But this was the best part, and I think this is what made me happy is that so my main drill instructor, which by the way he was the coolest fucking dude ever. He was watching all my events because ironically enough, like the fastest guy of our class, I kept up with. Well, my dumbass too, though. I kept up with him with the first lap, and then I fucking gassed myself out. But I was going full speed and everything, and I think on the 880 I finished like I want to say like maybe like the 7th or 8th because I gassed myself. But I was like I kept up with that guy. Like he was going at full force, I was going full force, and like obviously now I know not to go like that. But then I did the maneuver under fire, which I got a perfect score on, and he was watching me. And then I did the ammo can lifts, which I think I didn't get the 100, but I still got a pretty decent score. And then after that, they put up the scores, and I think I was like the 4th in my company. And then like he was just like, you know what, Ayala, you're a beast, you know. And then he made a little comment about that, and then like so there's this little meeting time, like alone time with our DI, and that's when they kind of like give us our letters or like they try to like make us feel good and like. Not everything is like tearing you apart, but it's all about also like building you up. And that was the moment that we were building up. And he was like, I don't know, you guys, if Ayala gets any faster, he's gonna be like taking everyone's name, and then on top of that, he's gonna be coming back with two women on his hand. And I was like, you know what?
So this is like the best part now because I mean, you see, you're going through this, what most people see as this extremely mentally tough thing of a boot camp.
Yeah.
And you're killing shit.
Yeah.
And no pun intended.
Yeah.
But you're succeeding.
Yeah.
And this now, that's where I was gonna kind of steer into was, the mental toughness of this, right?
Yeah.
Is there something you can compare it to, or just how tough do you have to be mentally?
Like, we got through boot camp, but he went through MCT, which is like another month of like basically where it's just combat training. But where hikes and all that shit. But dude, he did not want to do any of it. He got through boot camp and he just gave up. I'm like, dude, that was the hardest part.
Fuck.
Like, dude, you got through the hardest part, and he just did not want to, and he was on a holding company, and then they basically just like got rid of him. They medically separated him, quote unquote.
Yeah, I mean that's nuts because the next part, right, was the segue into like you graduate. And then what happens after that? You get stationed and whatnot. But, I mean, what happens after boot camp now? You graduate and...
So, for those that are from the West Coast, they know that... So, first off, there is a graduation ceremony for us in the West Coast that is, I think, by far... I'm sorry for my East Coast brothers, but, like, dude... If you don't climb Mount Reaper, you're not a fucking Marine. I'm sorry. Like, dude, that climb is the greatest single fucking moment of my life.
Wow.
And I think the old me died at the bottom and the new me came to life.
Wow.
Like, I saw the world in a different perspective that I would never imagine to do because I did this impossible task that they wanted me to do. To give a little segue into it is that there is a 2-day event that happens at the end leading up to this mountain climb. And what makes it even tougher is that you're basically, it's called the Crucible. It's about, they said it was about 52 hours. You only get about 4 hours of sleep every night, and you're constantly doing, it's basically to simulate war. And you're doing events, you're doing a bunch of shit, you're getting tired, everything. So you do all these crazy events, you're fucking fatigued, you only get 3 meals. They give you 3 meals for the 2 days.
Yeah.
So you have to like ration it. And dude, it was intense because I was like literally like I was done, but literally the night leading into it, I was like, I know what's coming. I gotta be ready. I can't not do it.
Yeah.
You know, and so we get led to the hike, and it's like, and it's not even a fucking short hike either. It's a long ass hike to the fucking mountain.
I agree. I would assume.
So they wake us up like, I think at like 3 or 4 in the morning. I can't remember anymore, but they wake us up. They give us a fucking apple. They break it down. They're like, we're hiking to this fucking mountain. You're climbing it, and you're graduating. You're fucking Marines. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's do it. That simple? I'm all for it.
That's simple.
There's a catch. So they hike us there, and it's about to break dawn. And so we get to the foot. It's pitch black, so like I can't really see anything. I'm like, all right, well, fuck, you know, like whatever. I don't know where this fucking mountain is, and it's like, you know, the sun's breaking. But right before the sun breaks and we can see the mountain, we see they take the truck up there first, so they can have an emergency vehicle if anyone ever gets hurt or whatever. And all you see, I'm not even fucking joking. You see the truck go up, and then all you see is the fucking lights. The lights of the truck just going straight up, and then boop, and then it just drives off. And I'm like, well, I don't know about that, man. It's like, no one told me about that shit. And yeah, dude, they basically just say, get up there. I don't care how you do it, just get up there.
Yeah.
And they let us go, and we fucking just go, and dude, I'm telling you, I had to use my rifle as like a walking stick just to drag my ass up there.
Yeah.
Because the incline is fucking ridiculous. Like, you don't...
It's
now
damn near like rock climbing.
Yeah, dude. Like, literally, like, now I look at it, it's such a short time in my mind because I'm just trying to remember it. But when I was in it, dude, I just felt forever. Like, I felt like I wasn't going to make it. But then, like, literally, at that point, everyone's tired. Everyone's, you know, trying to do their shit. So, like, I was just like, dude, just fucking do it. Just do it. Just do it. And in my mind, I just kept telling myself, just do it. And I was just fucking going and going and going. And like, I finally got to the top. And they're just, keep going, keep going. So we keep going to this little path. I can even show you the video later. But we keep walking. And then passing the climb and then, like, this little trail, there's, like, this really nice fucking view. And that's where our fucking ceremony is. Where they fucking, you know, give us our Eagle Globe and Anchor. And then they're like, you know, like, you're a Marine now. And they tell you, like, you did it. You fucking did it. And I broke down, dude. I was, like, in fucking tears, you know? Like, I was like, dude, I fucking did it. I did what I came here to do.
That sense of purpose started to become fulfilled.
Exactly. And that's what I said, like, dude, that old me died there. Like, I no longer ever need to be with someone that needs me. I don't longer ever want to be around someone that doesn't need me. I don't need, it's not that I didn't need people, because I needed my group. I needed the guys. I needed my DIs. But I didn't need negative and shitty people anymore.
Exactly.
You know? And that's what changed, you know? And I think that's what made me even stronger, because, like, I think about that climb every single day now, and I'm like, nothing can be too hard.
It's amazing.
You know? And
what's the mountain called again?
Mount Reaper?
Mount Reaper.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It has a nice name to it. You know?
You're right. So I remember now, the point now where I believe you came back to visit family, obviously, kicking with friends for a second. But then I remember you telling me you were being stationed to, was it South Carolina or North?
North Carolina.
North Carolina, right? Is there a specific thing that goes into why you're going there?
So obviously your MOS, which is your job. Okay. So I ended up picking logistics. Oh. I got lucky because I scored a pretty high score on the ASVAB. I think I got a 55. I mean, it's high for Marines. Yeah.
Air Force is like...
Yeah, Air Force, that's like don't chase the Air Force, dude. So that's why I had to choose them. I'm kidding. No, yeah, and so I got lucky and I scored a pretty decent high score, and I barely got it in the breakdown of the scores to get that job. And yeah, dude, I got lucky. And, you know, that job was amazing to me. But because of the specifics of the job, they have to find a place. So our job pool for 0431s, which is logistics embarkers, it's very tiny. Because you basically run the logistics for any company or any, you know, any part that you're running. So you're that small little part that makes everything go. So... When I got my orders, they basically said, you know, like, hey, you're staying here in North Carolina because the MLS school is in North Carolina too.
Okay.
So I got stuck there.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how shitty it was gonna be, but I knew getting stuck there was like upsetting because like I wanted to go back to Cali or I wanted to go somewhere.
Sure.
You know? I just didn't want to stay there because I already was there for like a month. I think it's only like two and a half weeks that my MLS school was.
Yeah.
But I was already there for a month, and I don't like the humidity and all that shit. That's just bad, dude.
I hear it all the time, but like it's treacherous.
It's treacherous, dude. And then the worst part, running there, you have to deal with the horseflies during the fucking winter or like, and the summer and shit like that. Dude, those horseflies do not fuck around. They'll eat you alive, dude. It's just bad. But yeah, and then the mosquitoes too. But no, but it's just, dude, North Carolina, like I said, I miss it sometimes because I had good memories there with my good friends, but it's such a shitty town, Jacksonville. Can I just make a shout out to Jacksonville, North Carolina? You are the bane of my existence, and I never want to go back. Like the worst fucking popular, bro. If you like bars and strip clubs, it's your spot.
Oh, for sure.
But don't expect high quality strippers.
To be honest, can you expect high quality strippers anywhere?
Maybe in Vegas and Cali, but not in New York. But North Carolina, goddamn, bro, you're really like swimming the pool there.
Oh man, oh shit. All right, now this is like where we segue into like, dude, how? Because my brother, right? Quick story.
Mm-hmm.
So between him going to UNLV, obviously Vegas, like women, this, that, and the third, and the military, right? He told me it is just light work for military men to get women.
Yeah.
Like it's just that easy. And so like his experience was just fun because he went out, drank, and it was just easy to pick on, women.
Yeah.
What were you doing? What were you and your colleagues doing for fun? What did you do for fun?
Oh man! Ironically enough, I had more success coming back here pulling women as a Marine than fucking being out there in a Marine town. That like, yeah. But anyways, so when me and the boys hang out, so like the main thing out there for our base was a pool hall, or like not a pool, a bowling area. So like, we go bowling. So like, it's like you can't really do much unless you have a vehicle. And then I didn't have a car at the time, so I was kind of stranded there. So there's two things you can do. You can go to the MCX and pick up beer, or you can drink at the bowling hall. So like you're just drinking. So like literally anything you do out there is just drinking, and it's like kind of like I don't know. I feel like it's again. The whole concept in the Marine Corps is that we were born in a tavern, so drinking is instilled in us. But it's so
yeah. So just given my small experience, my outside experience of the military and whatnot, it definitely I feel very confident in saying like alcohol is just like the culture.
Yeah.
Like it's just a culture, and I don't know if you can answer like the question of what percentage do you think of military men drank on a regular basis? Like,
if I can, I'd probably say 100%. But
wow.
No. Well, I mean, there's some that actually don't drink anymore, but like the thing is that a lot of those the higher ups that don't drink had bad experiences as junior Marines or like things like that stuff like that. But a good chunk do drink, and it gets out of hand more so with the junior Marines. So when I say junior Marines, for those that don't know, it's basically anyone that's a private up to Lance Corporal. So there's basically 3 ranks. It's private, private, first class, and then it's Lance Corporal. And then once you go into, technically, a lot of people don't consider Corporal as a junior Marine, but they kind of treat them as a junior Marine. Yeah. So, but once you reach sergeant and up, that's when it's like, well, you're not a junior Marine anymore, honestly. But yeah, so though that group and that age group too, because you're looking at probably from 18 to like 23 or 24 that are in that age group, and drinking is kind of like the way to blow off steam. If it's not playing video games or fapping,
Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah.
the other
Right.
one,
Right.
like, or if you don't have a girlfriend or something like that, which majority of us they don't, because obviously women in the military is a very low number, and then on top of that, it's like if you do have a girlfriend or if you're able to pull a girl from the town that's a military town, like good luck, but still, it's like like really if you don't have any other outings, it's like the good old faithful fucking liquor or fucking beer or whatever.
It was an easy go-to. I mean, obviously the access to it is just...
It's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. The MCX, our little stores, they have a whole fucking... They have... I remember for ours, there was like probably like 3 aisles full of fucking liquor. Just liquor. And then they had the coolers full of beer. Literally. Like, wow. And then they had a walk-in cooler where you just... There was more beer. So it was fucking easy to grab. So it wasn't like impossible. And then if you weren't of age, which again, it's frowned upon, you're not supposed to drink if you're underage, but dude, everyone helps the junior guys out, like everyone drinks.
It's not rocket science.
Yeah.
It's just like anything else, college or whatever.
Exactly.
It's easy.
And living in the barracks is, like I said, that's that college dorm life, because you're living with a roommate, and then if you're really close with your roommate, which most of my roommates I was close with, well, we just fucking got lit.
Yeah.
That was it.
Your roommates, did it seem like the drinking of alcohol, was that an issue? And maybe you've heard this from their mouth, but was that an issue before the military, or did that pick up during the military?
I think with some it might have happened before, or for most it amplified more so in the military, because again, you have to think you're isolated.
Yeah.
You're basically, if you don't have a vehicle, you're stuck in that base. Like, you're literally stuck. Unless you're going to walk, like, 3-4 miles, which, by the way, we run 3 miles or 4 miles or whoever. We run all that shit, so we're tired on the weekend. Yeah. We just want to blow off some steam. We don't want to fucking, do that shit. Yeah. So, unless you're going to walk out there, and then it's hard, back over there, it was hard to get Ubers and fucking, all that shit through the base, because they have to have, like, a military ID or a actual ID to go through. Unless you were, like, delivering food, that was the only exception that you were able to go through. But besides that, it was like really impossible for you to go out of town. And then the town wasn't even that great, honestly. So realistically, you're isolated, you're stuck there. All the people that you know are there. So what's there better to do than get fucking lit together, And literally, that's what it becomes. Like, I have literally on my Snapchat and my fucking Instagram, I have a bunch of videos that I recorded that we just had smoke pit parties.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So it's like...
So, I mean, it's safe to say boredom, it runs rampant.
Yeah. And what better fucking company with boredom to drink,
Right. Wow. So, we kind of come into the standpoint where, alcohol is obviously being used daily.
Yeah.
And, just kind of discussing, situations that may have gotten out of hand. And, we talked about it on the phone before this conversation, this episode, and, I asked you if you felt like sexual assault was even worth talking about, because I overheard something. A woman veteran, she mentioned she went through that and she was assaulted, and she said it was a major problem.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem that way. I mean, from our perspective, because it's obviously not spoken about. Yeah. But here you are. You had your experience. Is that an issue?
Sadly enough, I want to say yes. Well, not to make a joke out of a serious situation, but like, I got lucky that obviously I grew up in a house full of women, and I got blessed to be able to have conversation with other women and opposite sex, and actually like partake in relationships and stuff like that. So going into that, I was very experienced, and I didn't see a reason why to forcefully push myself on a female. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I technically went almost all 4 years single in the Marine Corps, Mm-hmm. So I mean, if I wasn't like the way I was, I think I would have been like everyone else, and but like you get kids that don't have any life experience, and then you put them in here, and then you put alcohol in the mix. And the majority of the time when sexual assault does happen, it is with alcohol. Mm-hmm. So that's what people don't understand. I've I've witnessed it and I've seen it, and well, let me rephrase that. I haven't witnessed it like physically, but I've heard stories where my female counterparts are getting bothered and stuff like that, and I hate that as much as anyone else, that like they can't be just normal. But again, you get this, in a sense, we're basically like in a prison. Like we can't leave this spot. Yeah. Unless you live out in town, then that's different. Like I said, there's different variables. But if for most people, they're stuck there,
yeah,
and they, and it turns into a really bad situation with females. And like I said, not to get out any stories or anything like that. And I've heard some like horrible stories, and and like I said, I feel for them more so just because of the fact that like I said, there's no one there to protect them, and that's where I took my pride, is that when I got put pinned as a sergeant, I was there to protect my Marines, my junior Marines, and I was there to do anything that I needed to do, and that's what it needs to be. We make these jokes and we make these things like, oh fuck you, like you're a piece of shit, or whatever. Like we do things because that's what we were taught, but when it comes down to it, we need to protect each other.
Yeah.
And that's what I think troop welfare needs to be such a bigger thing in the Marine Corps, because sometimes they don't really take into consideration that people are going through it, and and that's what I'm saying, like especially with females, like I said, I'm not an expert, and like I said, I have no right to say anything, but at the same time, it's like we do need to protect our female counterparts, because like I know sometimes some people think that they have an easy route through the Marine Corps or through the military because they're females, they can do certain things, but that doesn't give them a right to do anything,
Exactly.
And as men, we should be able to realize and be like, hey man, like we need to step back, or we need to stop drinking, or we need to stop doing that.
So what's the procedure with this? I mean, when do they file a claim? I mean, is this something that like gets brushed over?
It's a longer process than it actually. So there is specific Marines that are trained to help you in situations like this, but this is the problem, is that they have to go to you to talk, and they have to decide whether it has to be confidential, or they're going to do something, and then stuff like that. I might be, like I said, if people that are hearing, they disagree with me, like I said, it's been a while since I've been out, so I apologize, but like I said, and then there's an investigation process, and then they ask the people that are involved, and then but it gets tricky, because I think how a lot of people see it is that we think that the female's crying wolf, and that it's not true, or it's things like that. And then it gets, like I said, with any situation, it gets really fucking touchy, and you can't really do it. But there is things that are in place to help the situation, but they're not good enough. I don't think they're good enough. I think they should implement a better solution for this, where they feel secure and they're not attacked. Because this is the thing: if someone makes a claim or to do that, and this is I think this is completely wrong. They completely take them out of that situation and they put them somewhere else, and then everyone figures out why that happened. So it's like, dude,
it's like a Band-Aid.
Yeah. So it's like, I get that it's good to get that person out of the environment, but don't put them somewhere where everyone's gonna know. And then it's like high school over there, everyone's gonna fucking talk about it. That's the worst part. So even if it's confidential, everyone's gonna know.
Yeah.
And then there's some people that are gonna be like, she's lying, or this and that, or this and that. It's fucked up. It's not a delicate situation. And that's the other thing, is we're not trained to be delicate. And that's the worst part, is that, and again, a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but the Marine Corps is designed to, be this tough thing, that this fucking monster of a thing, and there's people that have this idea that oh, we should bring back the old Corps, it's being too soft, or it's where you guys are soft, this and that, blah blah. Back in my day, who gives a fuck about back in your day? We need to progressively be better. Yeah. So if we need to be a little bit more delicate in situations like that, then then I fucking agree. We need to be better. We need to be better. Fuck the old core.
Yeah.
We're not back, like I said, we're not in savage times where we need to fucking, like, be fucking savages.
Yeah.
We're educated, we're smart.
Yeah.
A lot of, like, the higher ups have fucking degrees.
Yeah.
So, like, if you guys are smart enough to get degrees, you guys are smart enough to know that progressive times need advancements and different and involvement of, like, you know, old things.
Yeah.
It can't stay old this forever.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like the system is what it is, and you know, not to pick on the military, because this is actually, again, it's so strange how we're comparing a lot of things to the university system, where I've seen statistics of these Ivy League schools. They have sexual assaults damn near every day.
Yeah.
And you don't hear about this, and it's because it's to protect the rep.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think the military is in that same light where they're trying to protect their rep.
Yeah.
And so, you know, if you have this information coming out, like, you know, women are getting sexually assaulted, I don't know how often you heard it, but if it's a frequent thing, right, the parent's not going to be so quick to send their child there.
Yeah.
And so it's like you're just trying to put a Band-Aid over the situation and quiet it down, like these Ivy League schools do. And like you said, some kind of culture, something needs to change where, you know, it's just happen. Again, I don't know how frequent these are happening. I haven't done the research on that, but I mean, to your point of view, was it something that was like, did you hear every month something? Or
I wouldn't hear it every month, but I would hear it ever so often, where it would be like, dude, again, or like, why?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and then me leaving when on my last year, I think it was like my last couple months, there was 2 claims of sexual assault from the MAG and the Mouse, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, dude, we're supposed to be better than that.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that pisses me off, and this is like I said, I won't go into too much about it because, like I said, it leads into other things, and I get mad. Mm-hmm. But like the Marine Corps, another thing about it is that we're designed to be, you know, we're supposed to hold ourselves to the highest fucking standards. Mm-hmm. We're supposed to be fucking, you know, like vigilant, like, you know, instill this like this amazing concept of like slow is fast and fast is, you know, steady. Yeah. You know, like it's one of those things where like, dude, you know, we practice to be perfect. All these things, all these fucking things, but we decide as individuals to fuck it all up, and that's the thing. And like in a bigger aspect, to me, I think the Marine Corps is perfect, but because of the individuals, it makes it unperfect. And it always goes down to that.
It's always that bad apples in everything.
In everything.
Wow. Well, I mean, the reason why I brought this up, because I didn't want to make like our audience uncomfortable or anything, but it's just a reality that had to be spoken of.
Yeah.
But it just goes back to what you said previously, like it's the alcohol shit.
Yeah.
And the access to it, and just one thing leads to another, and you just start to develop this habit of drinking and subduing some of the things you heard. You know, for an example, I don't know if you did it, but you might have heard about the stories. I'm like, fuck this, I'm gonna go get something to drink. Like, I don't want to fucking think about this shit.
Yeah.
Right? And so this kind of swings me into like the status of combat. Because ultimately, I would assume, again, just assuming that's probably a major key point of these PTSDs and these soldiers coming back with these mental issues. Yeah. Did either you, you know, engage in combat, or do you know others personally that engaged in combat?
I never did. I was stationed in a non-deployable unit, so I was stuck there all 4 years, and I didn't really get to do anything, which, again, I'm grateful, but, again, I feel like I missed an opportunity to be part of, like, you know, that cohesiveness. But, again, it's not as romanticized as I try to make it anymore, you know, because it's a serious thing. I do know people that have gone to combat, and I actually have a great friend, and he went from, you know, the infantry to becoming a career planner because he knew he was done with that side of it. And I love him to this day. He's such a great friend. He got me through a lot of tough times, and he was the rock that I needed when I was stuck in situations and stuff like that. And my other great friend that I have there too, he was basically our you know, our guiding path, that he knew everything, and well educated, well put together man. He was amazing, articulately. And he was great at his job, but there was days like the days that he did drink, he went back to those days, those dark days of like being out there, and and like I said, not to go into too much detail, like because that's his story.
Yeah.
He had to make a decision, and it costs lives.
Yeah.
And he chose the lives of his brothers in the Marine Corps over the lives of other people, and for him, he lives in guilt because he didn't know. It's not that he didn't know, but he didn't know if they were capable of causing damage to them, and he didn't want to take the risk. And that's what we're in, is that sometimes you have to do these horrible things to get your brother and sister back. And I know, and I apologize to your listeners and stuff like that. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, that's not how we should do it, and we should, there's other ways. But
Right.
At the end of the day, it's like, who are you going to protect? The person that you know or the person that you don't know? And that's what it comes down to. And he lives with that guilt every single day of his life.
Yeah.
And that's why he barely drinks sometimes, because he doesn't want to go back to that. And drinking brings that out of him.
Yeah.
And that's what some people do, and that's what I like. And even I like I said, not that I don't think I have a drinking problem. I don't crave it every single day. I don't want it. I don't need to have a drink every single day or anything like that. But I took that on a lot in the Marine Corps. I drank so much. It was bad sometimes. There was the worst time I remember, I think I drank to the point where like I almost broke my nose, and I woke up with a bloody nose.
Whoa.
And I was like, what the fuck was I doing?
Yeah.
Like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
And then it cost me a lot of tension between the people that I did care about at the time. It cost me a relationship because I would just drink and I would just be belligerent and asshole. Yeah. And like I said, it's not a pretty sight, but like we did it because I thought we did it because we thought it was de-stressing us. And then the worst part is that they cheer you on sometimes being an asshole. Yeah. So like your boys are just like, yeah, fuck her, like don't worry about it. Like, and you're drunk, so you're like, yeah, fuck her, I'm not gonna listen.
Yeah.
So. And that's what it is. It's like it's just really bad sometimes, man.
Yeah.
So it's like I said, like with people that have PTSD and they drink, it's like it gets bad sometimes.
Yeah. And just for the record, we are drinking right now. I thought it was fair to say like we are drinking alcohol right now. I didn't want to sound like a hypocrite, but So, I mean, we heard about the numbers, man. Over 6,000 suicides in 2017. Just to combat, I can only imagine. I actually, when I was in San Francisco, I lived with a woman, and her partner was in the Army.
Yeah.
Much older. He's a senior now, so he partook in the Vietnam War. And he didn't really talk about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I kind of made this like joke of like, man, like. I was talking about like death and like what it's like to kill somebody, and he straight up looked at me very seriously, like, you literally don't want to know.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to be in that. And go figure, he has his drinking problem as well. He got a lot better with it. As I was there, he got a lot better with it. But just a sense of like, what do we do? What do we do for that? I mean, is the military doing enough for people with PTSDs? I mean, here we have these numbers where, 16 people a day veterans are dying, killing themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, whose fault is that? Is there someone at fault? What do we do?
First off, to the listeners, if you know someone that is a veteran and actually had been in combat, don't ever ask them about it. From the bottom of my heart, I know it sounds rude, but please don't ever ask. If they choose to speak about it, let them choose to speak about it. Do not ask them, because they
can trigger something.
Not only that, but it's an emotional piece that is them. And I don't know anyone that would go on a first date and be like, hey, do you have any emotional scars that you can tell me? Like, that's what it is. And you don't want to do that. So if they have a story, let them speak to you in private. Let them do it naturally, because, like I said, I love my older sister Anna, but my sister, she's in the Navy too, and she went through some things when she was in Iraq these last couple months, and she just asked. She was just like, "Oh, so what happened?" I'm like you don't ask that. That's not emotionally okay. But to answer your question and to go back to what we were talking about, is that, like I said, these are emotional scars that people have gone through. They've done, and me personally, like I said, I have nothing but respect and love for the Marine Corps, because it made me tougher, it made me stronger, it made me better out here, and it made me everything that I was supposed to be. It made me do that, but not everyone gets the result that I get. Not everyone is my mindset. But, and again, I didn't go through that either. But at the same time, it's that some people are built for that, and then some people aren't. And when they do something horrible, whether it's for good or for bad, it's embedded in them. It becomes them. It's in that whole concept that I said, like when you kill a murderer, there's the same amount of murderers in the world still, because you became one.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's that thing where, like, like with that starts developing into that PTSD, that develops into things. And like I said, and then leading into alcohol or alcoholism, like, that's the problem, is that some people would rather never think or feel about that ever again. And that's what leads into these suicides sometimes, because the weight of that burden is so bad that they refuse to live. Yeah. And I had a good friend that did pass away because of suicide, and like I said, I told you this, and it was obviously, it wasn't because PTSD, it was because of a girl, and he thought he was going to marry her, and he was this young, lively guy that was like an amazing guy, smiling. Every time I saw him, he would smile. He was just happy kid, like cool as fucking dude. And we all got into the fleet about the same time, so we were growing up together basically in the Marine Corps. And he decided that life was not enough without her, and he drank, and he ended it. Yeah. And the worst part is that, like I said, it's like, the worst part is that, like, sometimes, like, that shit hurts. I get that. And like I said, I made decisions because of fucking females. But I can't imagine how much pain he was going through. And I feel bad because I wasn't there for him. A lot of his friends weren't there either. But like I said, it's tough to see people, to even think that people go through that every day. And like I said, I don't think anyone should ever feel the need to kill themselves, especially if they've already sacrificed so much for everyone else.
Exactly. You let it out, man. Definitely let it out, man. It's a serious issue. That's why I want to talk about it, and I hope this gets 1 million views, not because of clout, but because of how serious it is. Essentially, when you have 16 veterans choosing to take their own lives, that's easily every other hour. And that is far too much. Especially, as you said, Edgar, they've given so much to people like me. Just the whole idea that they have to be put into this mental position to do it is completely unfair. And we know how much the defense budget gets. And I've done research. It's skewed and being put into, subcategories that don't support the veterans. It's being more so, the weapons, and perhaps even some of these corporations that produce these weapons. And I know for a fact that we can do more as a society. Man, I think we definitely hit on some points. I hope this touches. But just before we get out of here, man, I'm gonna kind of break this into like 3 categories, and I'm gonna ask you, first, for the ones, for the people interested in the military and want to go into the military, you know, what is your advice to the ones wanting to go into it?
Honestly, go in there with an open mind. Do not take everything they say as heavy as it is. Create your own opinion, make your own thoughts, because that's what makes you a great leader. And like I said, I'm grateful for everything that I had because of this. My bad.
You're good, man.
But yeah, just be open-minded and let everything naturally come to you. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about the ones that are in there right now that are listening to this?
Hey, it gets better, dude. I'm telling you, it gets better. Just get through it. The fastest way through is just get through your time. Find something that makes you happy. I played basketball and lifted weights. That's what got me through. I woke up every fucking morning at 5, went to the gym. I went to the gym at lunchtime, and then I ate out of my office, and then I went to the gym after work. Just do things that will fucking de-stress you. Like, don't just rely on drinking. Like, get a car. Like, if you guys can save. Get a cheap car. Drive out into town and do stuff with your friends, because the memories you create over there are going to be the best memories after that. I'm telling you.
Yeah. And most importantly, the ones that are in your position that are now vets, you know, what is your advice for them?
Oh, man. I know it's tough, and it's at first it's tough, but you just gotta get through it. There's a quote that I heard. I don't know who said it, but don't be afraid to start anew, because you're not starting from the beginning. You're starting with experience, and that's all you need to do. And like I said, if you guys ever need anyone, or like I said, if you guys need to talk to, find people that are going to talk to you, like genuinely talk to you. Because, like I said, it's not worth giving up your life.
Man, Edgar, this is powerful, man. And again, I appreciate you showing up, man. 'Cause I know this is personal. I know this is touching the heart, and I guarantee this is going to touch a lot of people. Even if it touches a dozen people, we've done our job, man.
No, yeah, like I said, I apologize. I get a little emotional when it gets to that. My empathy for things like that are really bad.
That's good, though, man. That's good.
But like I said, I don't care if it touches like one person, but it's just like the biggest thing is like the takeaway is that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Don't forget that. Everything you worked for, everything you did at boot camp, everything you did over there, it doesn't end over there. It begins here. So don't give that shit up.
Well, man, that's the episode. You anything else you want to just let out before we conclude this?
All right. Well, much love to the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Much love to everyone that's ever served. Respect. Just you guys, like I said, stay strong. For the listeners, like I said, if you guys know someone, be there. Be a genuine person to them. Just be genuine people every day. And like I said, I believe that great things will come just being genuine. And like I said, some of the best people I've met were in the Marine Corps. And like I said, I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for everything that I have today. Absolutely. If it wasn't for that, like I said, much love, and just spread some love out there, you guys.
Yeah. And just keep in mind, man, nobody's perfect, man. We definitely make mistakes, but the idea is whether you learn from that mistake or you don't. And if you've made a mistake in the past, you've probably done something you know you shouldn't have done. Know that you're not alone. Every single human being has done that. And just know the most important part is what you do after that. And, you know, with that, I just give peace to all of you. From someone that's not a veteran, thank you so much for sacrificing your time. And, you know, I wish you the best, and I give you all the positive energy that I possibly can. And thank you so much.
No, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. So with that, we're going to conclude this episode. We're going to finish this alcohol responsibly. And, you know, peace to you. All right, later.